This is a welcome. Am I doing the most? Well, I got plenty to tell, man. I'm over in life while you running with friends, but you're all on the outside. Are you coming in? I got shalom, something I got from the throne. Cannot be copped on the phone. There is no average, no cabinets, not in your dome. Why would I not put you on? God is holy like bagels, triune clicked up like some Legos. Need all this God is so fuego. The sun he said down on them bizzle.
What's going on, Beat family? Alan Parr here, and I am here with my friend and brother, William Deuce Branch, and AKA Ambassador, as some of you may be familiar with his work with the Cross Movement and his own solo projects over the years. Hey, we're going to have a good time, guys. We're just going to chop it up. He's got a new EP that he just dropped. We're going to talk about the state of Christian hip hop. Yeah. Where is it at right now? What concerns do we have? What's working? What's going well? And where do we want to see it go in the future? We're going to touch on all of those things in this particular conversation. So, my brother, so good to see you, man. So good to see you after all these years, man. I'm glad you're here, bro.
Excellent.
One of the things that I have greatly appreciated about your work over the years is that, even dating back to Christology from 1999, is that it was Christocentric. It was biblical.
Right.
The focus was on Christ. The focus was on, throughout your music, throughout your lyrics, there was always a focus on Bible.
Right.
But it wasn't corny.
Right.
It was urban enough to where you feel like you can groove to it.
Right.
But it wasn't so watered down to where people question, is this Christian or not?
Right.
Is this Christian hip hop or is this hip hop? And I think that one of the things that I have struggled with a lot of Christian hip hop, if I'm being honest with you, is it seems like many artists have lost their identity because they know they can't be just hip hop, because they don't quite fit in perfectly there, because in order to kind of make it in that world, you kind of almost have to sell out and talk about some things that your Christianity ain't just going to let you go there.
Right.
But then it's like, I listen to a lot of this music, and I'm just being honest, y'all.
Facts.
I listen to a lot of Christian hip hop, and you can look at a whole song, a whole album, and not hear that much Bible, that much mention of the gospel, that much of a mention of Jesus Christ. So what are your thoughts on where Christian hip hop is now, where it needs to go? What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Man?
Well, let me start by saying that Christian hip hop, positively speaking, is become a very respectable genre now. I believe that it's clear to people that Christian hip hop has weathered the storm. It seems like it's here to stay. It seems more comfortable with its own identity. Actually, some of the young guard came on, and they came ready to embrace Christian hip hop, at least in concept, as a space that they kind of felt like this is our space. So CHH, as it can be often abbreviated, is a space that, again, where people do well. They covet the space. They try to enter that space because they see that the space has height and breadth and depth because so many people have done so well doing it. And it's almost like a lane that if you get in and you become discovered, you actually can, again, you can do well for yourself. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I do think that there have been some who, again, like who've benefited from being countercultural. Again, so they've been able to push back on the culture through the Christian hip hop lane, like I said, and then do well for themselves. But to your point about some of the things you see, I do believe that Christian hip hop went through a phase where people lowered the standard of what people were looking for. So one of the things that happened back when we entered is we did just what we wanted to do. Like, we never told anybody that they had to do it. We never told anybody that this is what you should do. We advocated, let it be done. Like, may this be done. Again, because we wanted to saturate a urbanite context with a representation of Jesus Christ through the hip hop format. Like, that was our whole thing. It was our type. It was us reaching us. It was like, hey, I want to reach people that I used to get high with. I want to reach people who look like I looked just 2 years ago before God snatched me out. I want to look like people. I want to reach people who look like me now, except Jesus is on the throne of my heart. So our clothes look a lot alike, but Jesus is the captain of my heart, whereas they're on the throne of their own hearts. So that was the whole concept. So when we did it, people celebrated it. They grew from it. Like Paul said in 2 Corinthians, he said, you're our letters. You're the letters read by everyone. Like people can see the impact of my ministry by looking at you. People were produced by this Bible-centeredness you talk about, by this Christ-centeredness that you talk about. It sold at one time. Again, like you said, it put us on tour. It looked like it was the thing you do if you want to succeed. And then I think it hit a ceiling where people were like, I don't want to do that, but I feel pressured to do that. I got to retrain people to not make me do that. So then Christian hip hop went through a long season of people kind of being frustrated with, I feel like I have to preach a sermon. And they were frustrated with like this demand because that's what people liked. So they went through a long season of helping people and getting people to relax it. Like, come on, man, just like art.
Yeah, I don't have to mention Jesus every other lyric.
Who does that? Like this, and they moved it from, it used to be, we used to talk about ministry versus industry. And they was like it's art. And once it went from ministry where you kind of think, oh, ministry, I would expect Jesus. But if it's art, I think beauty, creativity. And as we shifted from ministry to art became, as long as it's not in conflict with Jesus.
Right.
It could be neutral just as long as it's not against Jesus.
Right.
But that became the new infatuation. I'm going to get deep for a second. There's some in certain Christian traditions that actually used to advocate Christians should be better at being secular, not sinful, but secular. Right. In other words, we should hit secular. In other words, don't be a Christian dentist. Be a dentist that does such excellent dental work that the world is like, that's beautiful. To the glory of God, you help you're doing good dental work. Plumbing. Don't be a Christian plumber. Fix pipes so well that now my family has heat and water, and that's being,
be a plumber who happens to be a Christian.
Exactly. And that came into the music. Just do great rap and music. And yeah, you're a Christian, but don't infuse that into the music.
Yeah.
And as people begin to prefer that route, it led to almost in fact, don't do it now. So it went from don't make me have to do it to you better not do it. That's corny now. That's whack now. We don't do that now. Right. We used to think that, don't call us that. Don't do. And that produced a climate where that led to a current Christian hip hop. So the question was, what about hip hop today? Well, after it became more normal to hear rap that was so absent of distinctly Christian things, lest that reminds you of the era when we just got away from. Some of the other things that come along with that also diminished. So it wasn't just you didn't have Jesus in your raps. Jesus is now no longer in your life. Again, now he's in your heart. And again, but that he's not part of the atmosphere that you hang in. And again, so then people start okay, well, I want the best person. So I fire the Christians because they were all just Christians who we were just friends at the time. So now they're not there. And so, let's just hire the best person. And let's just hang with the coolest people. And let's just build relationships with the wisest person for excellent presentation. Before you know it, Christ was so absent from the ethos of kingdom was so absent that it produced a long season of, again, people just saying, well, let's not do that anymore. Right. Pastors went to just pastoring and rappers went to just doing rap, and Christians kind of faded from the scene. And what happened was now we have a new crop of Christians that I think since Drake and Chance the Rapper, Kanye, so there was a few dudes secular that reintroduced Christianity. Chance the Rapper was one. He had two very, very like super Christian songs on his otherwise secular album.
Right.
And he won a Grammy. And I think people were like, oh man.
You can still
You
can still make it by mentioning.
Absolutely. Like Kendrick Lamar had a couple of little references to some Bible stuff. Oh man. And then Kanye, of course. And I think what people did was they were like, let's go back to having some God in it.
Mm-hmm.
The only challenge is we're still impacted by a season of do whatever you want. Please just don't let it be overtly and, saturated in Christian stuff. Cause we're through with that. Lives were affected. Spiritual conditions were affected. And now the current Christian hip hop is I guess just using the internet to try to come up with how can I become Christian via influencers, not necessarily shepherds, influencers. Influences. And I think that's where we are now. Christian hip hop is in need of shepherding to reclaim, I believe, a greater sense of, even if you not doing Christian rap, are you a growing and robust Christian?
Yeah.
And what robust Christians call you robust Christian? Because if you're just looking around like, I am, and your friends are like, yeah, you don't know what he's doing. And yeah, he's robustly Christian. Like, what is even it? Everybody not going to be like so-and-so. Okay, but are you robustly Christian? Right. It's like, I don't know if we even have a way of judging these things anymore. So again, that's where I think we are right now. Again, a lot of positive turns, but I believe reeling from a whole season of a lack of shepherding that's produced a self-made Christian. The pandemic exacerbated all of it. And now we got people who are like, I don't even have the tools to deal with the current moment where now everybody's on therapy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we need therapy. And so it's like, praise God for those who need therapy, but some of the infrastructure that would have helped us it's kind of been missing.
How can people find you? How can they support you? How can they best support what you're doing right now?
Well, really on any social media platform, of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you're going to see a link that'll lead you at least to, again, one, social media. So that way you can just hear how my heart is beating and what I'm putting out. And but then secondly, it'll lead you to the project, The Invitation, which is the most immediate way to actually even support me, to actually invest in it, do more than streaming it, but even purchasing it, and helping me to store up for this next project that I want to do, just to keep the content contributing to this moment. So again, social media is how you can find me. You can stay abreast of the way I'm trying to, again, make a contribution, add some shepherding during this moment, and then purchase to support me so that I can actually do it better. And one day, have the beat, be like on the beat again.
Oh man, that's good stuff, man. So y'all, look, you're talking to somebody like I said, I'm not even a huge Christian hip hop guy, but I listened to his entire EP at least 3 times, and I'm telling you, it blessed my soul.
Excellent.
The music, the lyrics, go check it out. You would not be disappointed. The Invitation, will put a link below. Deuce,
thank you so much.
So good to have you on here, bro. We're gonna do it again sometime soon,
Excellent.
bro.
Excellent.
All right, man. Love you, bro. God bless. All right, we'll see y'all next time on The Beat.